Beautiful Townsville. It is the home of the WNBL for its 41st season. There'll be 32 games played in this city, including the entire playoffs. Fans of all kinds, of all sports, welcome to the WNBL. Corbin Middlemass and Jenny Screen on hand. It is Premiere Week, and tonight we get the first look at the Melbourne Boomers, who last year made it all the way through to the finals. They lost in a deciding Game 3 in their semi-final series to the eventual champions. They're up against the Sydney Uni Flames. The Flames finishing 5 games outside of the playoff hunt last year. Can they bounce back this season? Jenny Screen's alongside me. Hello, Jenny.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It feels like an eternity since we've seen this game, the great game of women's basketball, and it's going to be a great game tonight.
Be fascinating to see what happens both with the Boomers and the Flames, contrasting roster constructions. I'll get to that in a moment. But last night, the season tipped off with a doubleheader in Mackay. Jenny, a fascinating night's basketball, starting with the Caps and the Lightning. Yeah,
Caps depleted with their lineup, with obviously no Kelsey Griffin or Brittany Smart. And the Adelaide Lightning came away with a win in overtime, led by Steph Talbot with 31 points and a massive 15 rebounds. The second game of the night saw that Perth were just on their second gear pretty much for the whole game, but Townsville came up firing, as pardon the pun, but it was nice to see the likes of Mia Murray return from having her first child last year, and some newbies to the roster like Megan McKay returning from college to join the WNBL for her debut.
Tonight's games, the coaches are connected in a way. Katrina Hibbert played underneath, or coached underneath, the tutelage of Guy Malloy, who's now entering his 8th season with the Melbourne Boomers. We had a chance to catch up with both of them. I asked Guy about what their best basketball would look like and the similar theme that his team's been approaching in recent times, just to focus on what we do well. Meanwhile, I asked the same question to Katrina Hibbert. What will it look like if the Flames play their best ball tonight?
I think we'll have some great pace out there. We'll have some excellent ball movement and some really great spacing and a lot of pressure on the rim.
Yeah, that's no real change from how we normally approach things, but it's certainly been demanded in the circumstance with COVID that we've had to face. So, look, we want to really establish our defensive focus and intensity early, and then just see if we can move the ball pretty well and get great shots.
It's an interesting element, isn't it, Jenny, when you look at the way that the two teams have built their list this year. The Sydney Uni Flames have pulled it all apart. They've got just 3 players returning. Meanwhile, for the Melbourne Boomers, they only have 4 newbies, so they've kept the core in place this year.
They've done a great job keeping the core, and that's part of their culture and identity. Guy is instilling that, and it's led by, of course, Maddie Garrick and Kayla George, but they've got a returning player who is exciting. Coming home, I would like to say, Tess Madgen. She played some great games for the Melbourne Boomers 2 years ago, returning from Townsville now, so she's going to add some fire, considering they've lost the likes of the imports in Lindsay Allen and also Sophie Cunningham. So it's going to be an interesting contest for the Melbourne Boomers tonight, but I'm loving that Ezzy's back with the WNBA Championship under her belt, and she, I'm hoping, is going to have a stellar season.
She's the headline attraction here, Ezzy Magbagor, and she's going to start out there in the front court with Kayla George. And I get the feeling, Jenny, we're going to be talking a lot about the front court matchups as this season progresses.
Especially when we talk about Sydney's front court as well, but also nice to see Maddie Garrick returning from ankle surgery and suiting up for the first game. It was touch and go early on, but nice to see the 3-on-3 Australian star taking the court for the first game for the Melbourne Boomers tonight.
There's the Sydney Uni Flames. They're the team in orange tonight, and there's their starting lineup. So a number of new faces. Ali Schwagmeyer is the one to look out for, though, to get up and back, play both sides of the ball on the wing for the Flames.
Yeah, she's definitely come across from the West Perth Lynx, as too has Lauren Mansfield. 2 players that did a great job last season for the Perth Lynx. They're going to add some punch. I'm especially looking forward to Schwagmeyer and how can she affect this team with her leadership, her consistency, and her pure grit and determination, something that perhaps the Sydney Flames have missed in recent years. Interestingly, it'll be good to see coming off the bench Funda Nagasoglu coming back from Turkey. I'm intrigued to see what this player is going to add to the WNBL as well.
To give you an idea, as I touched on, the newbies versus the returning players, Tess Madgen, the only starter that wasn't there last year, and we know her history with the Boomers and the Sydney Uni Flames. Meanwhile, the only returning player is Lauren Scherf, who you can see there in the centre of screen, about to contest the tip. In fact, that's Nat Burton who's going to contest the tip. Scherf standing alongside Kayla George. You can expect to see them together for most of the night.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the matchup between the two girls in the middle of screen is going to be exciting one. Nat Burton is renowned, obviously a Rio 2016 Olympian, but her length defensively is going to be interesting.
So away we go. Is this the start of something special for the Sydney Uni Flames with a new group, or a continuation of a path towards that long-awaited second championship for the Boomers? The opening tap goes the way of the Flames. They'll get the first possession. Little shot goes up there from Mansfield, unsuccessful. Rims out, drifts over the baseline. So ball for the Boomers in their backcourt. First of 32 games to be played here at Townsville Stadium. It's obviously seen WNBL action in the past, that Townsville Fire winning their championship here a few years back. And into their first look at the offense. Garrick back from that ankle surgery, which Jenny touched on, to Madgen. Rolls off the pick, set by George. Down in the short corner, kicks it back out. There's Garrick, ran out of time, and the board lines up. Left holding the basketball, and as a result, so no points on either ends of the floor so far to start the Flames and the Boomers.
Might have been a turnover with their first initial play, but what I've liked so far in the two terms that we've seen down the court is just ball movement. Last night you saw erratic play early on from Adelaide and Canberra Capital, so it's nice to see they're getting rid of their nerves by, sharing the ball around a little bit.
Schwagmeyer drives, then a little fadeaway, misses outside the charge circle. George grabs the rebound, and in a space on the landing was Annalie Maley. It's going to be an early foul called on the Flames.
Sydney Flames have had some, their first two looks have been great looks. They've just rimmed out, unfortunately. An unlucky call there, I think, for Annalie Maley. She's renowned for her rebounding prowess, but has to be careful, obviously, now with one to her name.
Madgen up into the front court for the Boomers. This is Garrick in the midcourt. To George up top, back to Garrick. Puts it on the floor, pulls up from the elbow, left it a little short. George, big offensive board, comes up with it again for the Boomers. Kicks it out to Madgen, jacks the three, no good. George, another O-ball, dumps it down low to McMagor, and a foul called on Burton. So her first personal. A couple of offensive boards, and Kayla George making her presence felt early.
Yeah, she knows this court very well. She played many years for the Townsville Flyer, but having that ability to get those offensive rebounds and then have a sister in the key like Ezzy is fraught with danger for Sydney Flames if they can't box out.
Garrick to McMagor, spins it up around the horn to Madgen. Driving inside, shot up, off the window, good for two. There's the first point to their season. And to the returning Boomer in Tess Madgen. A couple of years away, former captain of this team. Trying to thread it through Scherf. Touched over the baseline. Last touch by the Boomers. They'll get it back on offense here, the Flames. Sydney Uni in the orange, the Melbourne Boomers. The purple with the white and gold piping. This is Schwagmeyer, little pump fake. Shakes the defender, kicks it to the weak side. Up top, Mansfield again draws Madgen, shot up, it's good. Makes it drop from the free throw line.
That's a good start for Lauren, and considering she's very much a confidence player and thrives on that. Missed her first shot, nice to see her punch it for that first 2 points to her name.
2 points each. Drive coming up here from Beck, kicks it along the baseline. Garrick for three, it's good.
Ankle seems like it's got no problem there, Corbin, the way she was draining that three from deep there.
Trying to answer back, Scherf at the other end, bounces off the iron. Burton scrapping after the rebound. Last touch off the Boomers, Flames to get it, still in their front court. Long range attempt from Lauren Scherf.
And I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight, as you saw on the replay there. Offensive rebounding is going to be a key to getting a win tonight, especially with the players that we see inside the paint.
Scherf backs in, tough shot. Fouled by George on the way through, and Scherf to go to the line to shoot a couple.
This is a great first matchup for Lauren Scherf. This is her 7th season in the WNBL. Second, obviously, with the Sydney Uni Flames after a couple with Canberra, and going up against a world championship player, obviously, with Kayla George there. Is a good test for her. She has probably been a bit underwhelming in a couple of years. A great player, has great size, but probably hasn't reached her potential yet. So I'm excited and imploring to her to have a great year this year.
She's been in the league a minute now, so 7th season is
Oh, that's a horror way to bring the ball back in, and really an unforced error on the back of that for the Melbourne Boomers. They cough up possession, the Flames to get it again. Imagine trying to work it in quick. Neat work from Mansfield. Able to force the turnover. Clean look from Maley out in the corner. That's good. So all of a sudden, the Sydney Uni Flames able to peg back this deficit. Now they lead the game 7 points to 5. A basket in at early stages. Garrick for the Boomers, out to George. Shoots early in the shot clock with success.
She's a little cheeky. She doesn't look like she's ever going to shoot that shot, and that's when I know she's going to shoot it. She just has that ability and knack to go lull you into thinking she's not going to and then go whack right in front of your face.
Here's Maley. Coming over from Southside Flyers in the off-season. Swings it down to the corner. Schwagmeyer Belga drives. Bounce pass along the baseline. And Maley puts it up through traffic. She's fouled.
Maley, it's great to see her in the starting lineup. She had obviously a roll off the bench with the Southside Flyers last year, considering the depth and potential that team has. But nice to see her relishing in these first couple of minutes in her starting role for the Sydney Uni Flames. I think she's going to have a great season. I think she can contribute in many ways, whether that's on the defensive end and getting the rebounds and stopping the stars of the other position, but also liking to see what she can do on the offensive end as well.
So more points for the Flames as Maley goes to the line and knocks down both of those. It's a third lead change of the game already as the Flames back ahead. 9 points to 8. Magbagor down to Magin. 8 left on the red numbers. To Garrick, dumps it inside to Ezzy, puts up the shot. It was all ball on the rejection from Scherf. Last touch by Ezzy over the baseline it goes, so Flames ball again.
Really good defensive set there from the Sydney Uni Flames. There was a mismatch with Lauren Mansfield and Ezzy, but then a quick reshuffle back with Scherf. That was really good, and Sydney really aren't renowned for their defensive.
Got plenty of confidence out of this start. The Sydney Uni Flames. Here's Scherf trying to back her way in on George. Goes on the weak side, shot up, no good. Rebound taken by Magin. Tries the early advance unsuccessfully. Schwagmeyer Belga kicks it inside. Nice work, Burton off the window for 2. 11 points to 8. Fast start for the Flames. See Guy Malloy looking to make his first change. Imagine a loose pass across the floor. Garrick mops it up. Kalani Purcell waiting to come on for her first minutes. Dying seconds on the shot clock. Garrick, tough shot from the corner over the outstretched hand of Burton. It doesn't go. So now Maley up the floor. The Flames, nice start on the offensive side of the ball. Schwagmeyer Belga for 3.
Boom. Yes, ma'am. Nice little pick and roll, two-man game there, but they're getting that energy from the defensive end, some great stops. Melbourne Boomers need a really good set here. They just look a little bit out of sync early here in the first term.
6-point spread. It's the Flames who lead it early. This is Magin, left-hand side 45, puts it on the floor, down to George, reverse layup, doesn't go, grabs her own board. Retreats back out of the perimeter. Magin. Pulls up, long range, that's good. Trying to get the Boomers going. Tess Magin with 5 early points. A 3-point game. Schwagmeyer Belga. Out it comes, nice little runner from Mansfield as she drives inside, sees the lane and pops it home for an easy basket. 5-point spread. Garrick shoots early in the shot clock at the other end. No good. Rebound for Maley, and again the Flames recover the ball. Jenny Strain. Here's Schwagmeyer Belga working her way in, chucks up an ugly looking shot, doesn't go. Last touch by George over the baseline. Kayla George can't quite believe it. Be a Flames ball though, still in their front court.
Credit here right now to the Sydney Uni Flames. If it wasn't for Tess Magin's 2 long bombs, you know, we'd be asking questions for the Boomers. They've made some rotations now. It'd be interesting to see if these other players can inject a little bit of energy to the purple uniform. Here's
Mansfield, out to Schwagmeyer Belga. Off the dribble, little step back, shot no good, rims out. Karadiana comes up with it for the Boomers, one of 5 tall ferns in the lineup. Of course, Guy Malloy with the double duties, not only the Melbourne Boomers coach, but also of the Kiwi national team. Driving Purcell good off the rack. It's good for 2.
Great job there, Guy Kalani, especially injecting herself straight off the bench there. 4th season with the Boomers. She knows Guy, she knows his system. Settled in really well, had a great year. Awesome blue-collar worker.
Oh, Schwagmeier Belger called for the offensive foul to Karadiana, who fell back with the contact. The refs all over it, happy to call that, so a charge call. Allison's first foul. Let's have a look at that, Jenny.
Good call there by the referee. She was grounded in her footwork and just absorbed the contact well, the New Zealand native.
Now Burton takes a seat for the first time in the game. As does Schwagmeier Belger on the back of her first foul. Shot goes up from Madge and just kisses it off the glass. It's good for 2. So starting to bridge that gap. It's back to a 1-point game. Flames 15, Boomers 14. 3 early lead changes. Here's Maley off the dribble. Guarded by Karadiana. Affects the shot. Falls down in George's hands. The Boomers come up with it. That's a loose handle and a nice strip as Christina Bowe comes up with it for the Flames. Another look at the offense. Here's Mansfield off the dribble. Can't get it over George. She gets possession back. Nice stop defensively. Imagine in transition. Still driving. Kicks it out. Purcell. Extra pass. George up top for 3. No good. Chris Bowe grabs the rebound for the Flames. Final 2 minutes here of this opening term. A few surprises. The Boomers starting favourites in our book. The back of consecutive playoff appearances in title contention, a new-looking roster for the Sydney Uni Flames. And all of a sudden, they find themselves ahead here, latter stages of this opening term. Early advance for Imagine. Purcell does well, kicks it back out to Izzy Wright, puts up the tough shot, doesn't go. This is Funda Nakasoglu, Turkish international, her father hailing from Turkey.
Indeed, she played, she's on the Turkish national squad. Her father played in Europe. An interesting player to watch, I think, for this season. Perhaps could be a little dark horse for the Sydney Uni Flames and add some punch off the bench. And Victorian native, and spent some time with the Bulleen Boomers under the tutelage of Ton Ma and Michelle Timms as the assistant coach. So no doubt she's got some high IQ, is what I've heard.
Said she grew up going to Boomers games, and Katrina Hibbert was playing back in those days, and now she plays under her tutelage as her new senior coach at the Flames.
Does that mean Katrina's old? Is that what you're implying there, Corbin?
Certainly wouldn't be implying that. 2-time league MVP, just plenty of reverence when I speak about Katrina Hibbert, of course, in these parts. 1-point margin, Flames lead it. Boomers back on the offense. This is Izzy Wright. Back in the league, out to the corner. Purcell's shot up, no good. Wright grabs the rebound. Throws it back up top. Long range shot, that's good. Drops. Stella Back.
Nice shot there by Stella Back, but I'm going to give all the credit there to Izzy Wright. The Queenslanding nine plays the number 1 expectors. Great offensive rebound there. Great penetration as well to allow the Boomers that shot.
Here's Mansfield inside the keyway. Kicks it out. Chris Bogue in the corner for 3. Can't connect. Wright scrapping for the rebound and comes up with it for the Boomers. So Wright and Beck out there on the backcourt. Purcell, Karadiana, and also Davidson on the floor. Here is Davidson. Easy put in, no good. A little nervy opening for her first look of the new season. Sydney Uni Flames, they've had about 6 weeks together in the lead-up in the pre-season as the clock ticks away on this opening term. Has to get a shot up. Nakasoglu out to the corner just in time. The shot goes from Bowe, but doesn't drop. That'll do us through the opening term. So the Melbourne Boomers 17-15 to 2-point advantage. It was a quarter that had 4 lead changes. What a start to the new season. The Boomers and the Flames. It's Melbourne by 2. What did you make of that opening quarter, Jenny Screen?
Look, I think we had some great ball movement by both teams early on. Interestingly, I was surprised that the Boomers relied on 7 outside shots from deep. I thought they could have attacked and got to the rim a little bit more, not getting to the foul line at all there. But credit to, the Flames. I thought they did a great job early on in that first quarter and took it at Melbourne. You don't see any nerves with them, which you think sometimes would happen with a new team gelling and those type of things. So great start by both teams.
Let's listen in to the Melbourne Boomers camp. Looks like Larissa Anderson is holding court at the moment.
Make sure that cheap ball doesn't go back to them. Down pass, slap away to rebound, and space to bring the ball up to the ball. Very easy to bring the extra there. Throw it in bounds is really good. I don't care after a free throw what about yards, push it down to the big guys and just run down. Pick it out, go to the drag, the switch, pick and roll in the middle of the floor and exit. Otherwise, they're going to come up and hedge it pretty hard, and we're not getting cushion and getting post man on that first out. They're up and hedging. More patience and
Leading scorers in that opening term, Tess Madgen having 7. She knows this floor well, of course, having spent the last few seasons with the Townsville Fire, such a famous sporting family. We, of course, know about her brother Ben and sister pro netballer. Her other brother plays for Collingwood, Jack, in the AFL at the moment.
Great pedigree there.
Yes, a very sporty family. And, of course, Tess well and truly in the mix for Opal's selection when it rolls around later next year now, of course, for the Tokyo Games. Start of the second term. 2-point game, the Boomers lead it. Flames led by as many as 6 in that opening quarter, and the Boomers start the scoring here through Izzy Wright. And
that was just great ball movement. Sydney Uni Flames came out in a 2-3 zone there, and they just nitpicked and found a nice little open player down for a cheap 2.
Nakasoglu closely guarded by Beck. Ball ends up over the sideline.
Guy Malloy talked about in that first quarter huddle about switching the mid pick and roll. It was really hard actually to hear him over the noise, but I'm sure he talked about switching the mid pick and roll and being up and in the lanes a little bit on the defensive end.
4 points each for Maley and Mansfield in that opening term, leading scorers for the Flames. Greaves down to the corner. Tough shot goes up from Mansfield. Can't get it to go and drifts over the baseline. It'll be Melbourne ball. First game of double-header, Bendigo, Southside later tonight. I'm sure both these teams will probably stick around for a bit of a look as well with their next game against Southside for both of these two teams on Saturday and Sunday. Loose carry there, off last touch by Stella Beck over the baseline, so they hand possession back. Flames will get it. Boomers by 4.
That's crazy, Corbin. You talk about teams playing, within 1, 2, 3 days, and then it's another 3 days before they play a game. It's going to be interesting to see how coaches navigate time for their players throughout this season. We've got 60 games in 39 days, which is great for women's basketball, but now it comes down to, obviously, the coaches and how they're going to navigate. We looked last night at Canberra Capitals. First loss of the season. Is it a big deal? Probably not for the defending two-time champions. But it'll be interesting to see because we know Guy Malloy and the likes of Cheryl Chambers also don't really rotate through their bench. And this is exciting that the young junior players get to explore their talents and showcase themselves as well.
Purcell doesn't get the user-friendly roll. Rebound taken by Greaves. It's Nakasoglu. Work it back up to the top of the perimeter. Kira Rowe, another to make the switch last season. At the Schwagmeyer-Belger, shot goes up, bounces off the window, no good. In the end, it's Karadiana who takes the rebound. Away to Purcell. A couple of the New Zealand Tall Ferns, hands it off to Stella Beck. 3 of them combining out on the floor at the moment. Beck's bounce pass back to Purcell from the elbow. That's a nice finish.
And that's her range, you know, elbow, short corner, 15-footer range. I know she's exploring to try and extend her consistency at the three-point line, which is necessary given the way teams will play her. But nice to see down the other end, throwing it in, attacking, getting some low post basketball in. Great job there by the Sydney Uniflames.
Basket drops for Carly Bogue. With Carly and Chris Bogue reconnecting in this lineup. Carly, a championship winner with the Flames back in the 16-17 season. Spent last year playing in Finland. Makes the shot here and to add the one at the line, and that's good too. 21-18, back to a one-possession game. Full court press on for the Flames. Izzy Wright works it up into the front court for the Boomers. Driving, shot goes up from Beck. Loose left-handed layup, no good. Spills over the baseline. Boomers will get it back. Quarter of the way through this second term. 3-point spread. Flames led by as many as 6 in the opening quarter. Wright catches the inbounds, away to Karadiana. Davidson to Beck. Oh, ran out of time. Shot clock lights up, as does the backboard. They hand possession back. So what I touched on earlier, Jenny, there's going to be a number of these teams that are just trying to get their offenses going. They've spent limited time together in the preseason, and we may see a little bit of that in the first couple of games. Especially
the Melbourne teams, you think about, they haven't been able to train, you know, contact technically by the letter of the rule down here in Melbourne, and it's going to be interesting. Reaction time is going to be a little slower. The lateral speed is going to be a little bit slower. It's all going to take time to gel, so there's no need to panic. The only thing that concerns me with the Melbourne Boomers is their backcourt. You've got Tess Madgen there, and obviously Tony Farnworth and Izzy Wright as well, but they're lacking that punch, and you can only hope that Stella Beck is going to accept that role, and without Sophie Cunningham or Lindsay Allen this year.
Nice basket, Carly Bogue. Up to 5 points in this opening term. Tess Madgen up into the front court for the Boomers. Here's Karadiana driving off the window. Nice layup. 2 more for the Boomers.
Solid. Really absorbed the contact there. Nice little left-hand finish, and great job there by Izzy Wright with a full court pressure on Lauren Mansfield to cause the turnover for the Sydney Uniflames.
Returning to the league, Izzy Wright. We've seen her previously with Southeast Queensland and the Lynx. Very talented athlete as well. Has spent time as on the surfing tour. Also obviously playing in this league as well, top flight basketball here in Australia.
Yeah, renowned for being a blue-collar athlete and spent some time at the University of San Diego as well. And not to add another string to her bow, has a degree in finance.
Cool. Shot goes up, Schwagmeyer Belgen, no good. Her opposite number retrieves the ball, and Kalani Purcell. Here is Izzy Wright. Points for Madgen last trip down the floor. Madgen up top. Chucks it up to Purcell. She works it around the perimeter. Karadiana trying to feed Magbagador inside the charge circle. No good, and Mansfield scoops it up for the Flames. Trying to take it the whole way. Kicks it out. Bogue jacks the 3.
And why wouldn't you? You've just drained one already. She goes, yes, please, give me another. Great job there by Carly.
Long-range shot for Carly Bogue. A hot hand here in this second term. As Madgen dumps it down low, Magbagador puts up the shot, grabs her own rebound, second time's good. She's fouled in the process, her first points of the new season for Ezzy Magbagador.
Just drumming up her stats there with that offensive rebound, but you know, nice to see her finally get some points on the board. I don't think they've utilised her that well. Obviously sat a little bit and rotating, obviously for court time in that first quarter, but you would hope this season she's going to be a target down low or at the pinch post for the Melbourne Boomers. I'm excited to see what she can produce. She no longer, although she's only 21, almost 22, she's no longer a baby, and I'm sure Guy is expecting a lot of her this season.
Now a 4-point game. The Boomers lead it. Mansfield from the elbow out to the corner. Maley for 3, no good. Rebound to Kayla George. This is right. Imagine. Lays it up. Easy basket. 6-point game. Katrina Hibbert's seen enough for the time being.
And nice drive there by Madgen. I think that was created by Ezzy McBagor there. Nice little seal. You could see her giving
been with the Lynx last season. Well, just kicks it out late to Scherf. Nice option.
great
Ranks
poise
the two.
there. Really good poise. She could have, you know, chosen the fadeaway, which probably would have been a low percentage shot there, but way to find Scherf for that nice little touch finish at the rim.
Garrick, George, Madgen, Magbagor. So 4 of the starters out there with Karadiana. This is George off the window for 2. Experienced opal off the window.
Experienced 2 opals there with obviously Tess Madgen as well. I think you're going to see a lot of that this season from those 2 players, that 2-punch combo, pick and roll all the time.
Swag by Belga, open 3, bounces off the iron, long rebound, Madgen up the floor, takes Mansfield to the basket. Nice run up for 2.
It's funny, every time I've watched, I don't know if it seems like it's on replay, but Tess Madgen, it's a left-hand drive, spin back to her right every time. I think that would be on the scout for the Sydney Flames.
Loose shot from Maley, no good. Scherf for the putback, unsuccessful. Magbagor grabs the rebound. Here's Madgen again, early advance to George underneath the bucket. Kicks it out, Karadiana back to George. Moves baseline, foul called on Scherf.
And I love that ability to punch. You get that chance, give and go, inside, outside. They have to go out, you know, long close out, and then you punch it back in again, and that allows that opportunity to draw the foul.
It's going to be a pretty rapid season this year, all over in 6 weeks, 60 games to be completed in that time.
My knees hurt thinking about that, Corbin.
Worked it out the other day. I think there's only 6 days between now and the 20th of December where there won't be WNBL played during that time. So a real treat for those of you here on KO Sports. You'll have all those games rolling throughout. And these teams, their next assignments, the Sydney Uni Flames, they have a back-to-back this weekend, so it's dinkum for them pretty early. They get a stop defensively here. What can they make of it on the other side of the ball? Mansfield down to Scherf, draws Magbagor, draws the foul. Shot up, no good. Should go to a line for 2. It's an 8-point game. It's a game high and a few dangerous moments here for the Flames, so they needed some points on this trip.
little bit of a lazy closeout there by Ezzy and just bailing out Lauren Scherf, who probably, you know, would have missed that shot anyway, but now sending it to the line for a crucial 2 points to nudge, or narrow, I should say, that margin just before halftime.
First shot good for Scherf. As we touched on the lead up, 196 centimetres. Big question, can she take the next step and be a dominant big in this league? She's now 7 seasons in, which is a huge plus for her. I think she's only 24 years of age and she's got all that experience already.
Yeah,
hopefully we see her for another 7 or 8 years.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. I mean, she's been Australian junior representative, World Uni Games gold medalist under Chris Lucas. She's had the opportunity. Now it's time to grasp it with 2 hands and be a leader for this Sydney Uni Flames team.
Imagine. Shakes Mansfield, pulls up from the free throw line and it drops. Tess Madgen.
Money.
Beautiful work on the dribble.
13 points, 6 of 9 from the field, and 3 rebounds to boot.
Back to 8 points. Bailey tries again. No good. Madgen now a defensive rebound. Then the best player on the floor so far, Tess Madgen. Kayla George shoots for 3. No good. Underneath the basket. Nice rebound. Coming up with it, Farnworth for the Boomers. Back out, another attempt, and that rattles home. Maddie Garrick with her first basket, a long-range 3. And all of a sudden, we're out to double digits. The Boomers 38, the Flames 28. Final 2 minutes of this second term, and Katrina Hibbert calls her second timeout of the period.
And a needed timeout. You know, the lead's out to 10 points now. They just got to rally the troops, try and get some good consecutive scores and some stops here in the last 2 minutes to ensure that it doesn't blow out before they go into the halftime break.
Mentioned Tess Madgen up to 15. 8 of them have come in this second term. She said chuck in 3 rebounds to go along with that. 7 of 10 shooting. Here's Katrina Hibbert.
Two people running to the same player. Let's just talk and then just waste energy running out. What about value? If you remember 65 and we're mentally tougher. All right, next possession. I want to go on AB gets run. All right, so it's quick. AB gets run. Turn the corner.
Heard the input from Nat Burton there, a senior opal. Just trying to remind a few of our younger teammates what they're here for.
Talking about communication and rotation on defense, the thing that's hurting them right now is the offensive rebounds for the Melbourne Boomers. Great job by them. They've got 8 for the half, or for the first 2 terms rather. And we've still got 2 minutes to play in this second term. So that's something they're going to have to focus on. Offensively though, they've had some great looks. They're just not dropping at the moment.
Townsville Stadium will see a lot of this venue over the next 6 weeks. They'll host the playoffs and the grand final on December 20. Home of the Townsville Fire, where they've crowned championships here in the past. Australian Opals have played a game here back in 2011. This is Mansfield for the Flames. Out to Burton, time running out, tries to dump it down to Scherf. Loose pass over the baseline. Melbourne ball, Boomers by 10.
Great job there, Guy Malloy, coming out of that timeout, setting up in a press and then dropping back into 2-3 zone, just disrupting Sydney there to cause the turnover.
Tess Madgen, 15 points, game high, returning to the Boomers. Here's Ezzy Magnagor up top. Out to Farnworth. Tries to feed George. Hand on it from Burton over the sideline. Boomers ball.
Boomers are playing so high above the 3-point line at the moment, rather, that they're not getting the angles right to be able to exploit the low post options in Ezzy and Kayla George. Hopefully they'll rectify this in the timeout as they draw up a play.
So timeout here for the Boomers, as we see on the shot clock. 4 left on the red numbers. A couple of shot clock violations already tonight. 81 seconds on the game clock before half-time. Sydney led this game by 6 in the opening quarter. Now down by 10 with work to do. Tess Madgen taking over in the second term with 8 second quarter points. 15 for the night, 7 of 10 shooting. 4 rebounds to go along with it. This time Malloy, the coach of the Boomers.
Man or zone, it doesn't matter. So Matt, you're going to throw here, so make sure you get a really strong lead. Okay, now we're going to go directly. Matt's come back and get it, and you're going to play off that end off right to there. As I want you to start ball side. If we're having trouble getting it in, you pop out one-on-one. Then I want you to switch, Tess and Tony, you guys at this side. So I want you to come off. Taylor's going to pop. Taylor's going to pop. And we've got 4 seconds here.
And I'm here,
We're on 2.
Rivers on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Would you pick up there, Jenny?
Well, it's going to be a quick inbound. They've only got 4 seconds left on the shot clock. I think it's going to be a pick and roll, side pick and roll between Garrick and Kayla George, with Kayla George doing what she does well, which is flaring to the three-point line. I could be wrong, but that's the plan of attack, I think.
So Garrick to George, back to Garrick for 3, shot up, foul on the shooter.
Well, there's no need for a pick or roll if the defense is going to sag off. You're just going to step in and take that opportunity like Maddie Garrick did. But an unnecessary foul there, especially when you're down by 10 already and you're sending a sharpshooter like Maddie Garrick to the foul line.
Sinead Greaves called for the foul, one of 3 returning Flames. What's going on here? Are we having a review?
I think there's a bit of a blood rule happening with one of the players from Melbourne Boomers. Stella Beck will substitute in, I believe.
Substitution on a medical basis. Number 21 coming onto the court for the Boomers, Stella Beck.
So Stella Beck returns. First shot up from Garrick's good. She'll shoot 3 on this trip to the free throw line, and the game high margin will extend on every made shot. Left ankle surgery in the lead up to the year. 6th year as a Melbourne Boomer. 2-time champion in this league previously with Bendigo, and she makes all 3 at the line, so it's 13 points. As we close in on half-time. Big turnaround for the Boomers in this second term. Half-court trap on. Flames up into the front court. Schwagmeyer-Belger up top to Mansfield. Around the horn they come. Nakasoglu back to Schwagmeyer-Belger. Puts it on the floor. Takes on Nagbagor. Nice layup off the right hand. Good for 2. 11-point game.
A very much needed 2 points there. Way to take on the length of Ezzy there by obviously the guard that is Allison. Brave indeed.
Turnaround jumper good from Kayla George. 2 more. Back to 13. Flames playing catch-up. Final 40 seconds here of the opening half. Burton to Schwagmeyer-Belger. Retreats out of the keyway and now out of the perimeter. Pulls up from long range. No good. Off target. And Nagbagor scoops up the rebound.
Disappointing option there. You had mismatch down low with Nat Burton, who decided to pull out to the three-point line against Tess Madgen. And then you had Lauren Mansfield, who'd probably be really crafty with the ball. Decided to take the long-range bomb against Kayla George instead of attacking the rim. And then we go down the other end, and we have an offensive foul.
Yeah, foul called away from the ball. Kayla George called for it. So they're in the bonus. They're going to walk the length of the floor to shoot a couple of foul shots. Clock stops with 12 seconds on it. Kayla George with at least her second. It is her second personal. She's going to sit down. Let's have a look at this. Oh. Forearm into the back of Sinead Greaves.
Maybe a little bit of theatrics there with it, but we'll agree with the referees nonetheless.
Greaves makes her first at the line. One of the 3 returning Flames. A second shot up, off the rim, no good. Nagbagor with the rebound. 10 seconds left in this opening half. Here's Tess Madgen. She's been the story of it. Off the dribble, drives inside, out to Garrick in the corner, pulls up just outside the keyway. Little hard on the shot as it bounces off the window and doesn't go. That'll do us. So the first half of basketball, Melbourne Boomers 43, Sydney Flames 31. It's a 12-point spread, Jenny Screen. But remembering the Flames led this game by 6 in the opening quarter, so an 18-point turnaround.
Yeah, great job by the Melbourne Boomers in that second quarter. The biggest thing for the Sydney Uni Flames is their field goal shooting percentage. 10 of 32, 31% in comparison to 50%, 18 of 36 for the Melbourne Boomers, not to mention those 8 offensive rebounds. They're things that Coach Katrina Hibbert will be wanting to address at this halftime break.
So 12 points, the Boomers' advantage. High five for Farnworth as she makes her way off at the half. A big turnaround in that second quarter. It really started in the latter stages of the first. Let's take a look at the Chemist Warehouse highlights in that opening half of basketball, which sees the Boomers in front by 12. Really, the story of that opening half, a lot of it belonged to Tess Madge and Jenny Screen.
It did indeed. She finished the half with a 15.7 of 10. It was either her penetration, her rebounding on the defensive end, her ability to drain the three from deep. She did a great job leading the Melbourne Boomers. Also, that woman on screen, Kayla George, did a great job in also leading them. On the other end, I thought Alison Swagmeyer-Belger did a great job. Nat Burton was sparky in patches, but I also liked Annalie Maley in those first couple of minutes. But again, it's just the lethal prowess of some of those girls in the Melbourne Boomers that the Sydney Uni Flames are going to have to address if they're going to be in this contest in the second half.
But the Flames in that opening quarter in particular, what was it that they were doing well that they were able to get out to that 6-point advantage?
I think the ball movement, but especially also on the defensive end. I thought they were really crafty. They were up and in. They weren't afraid. They were containing really well. But then as fatigue set in that second quarter, penetration was happening. You could see by Tess Madge and Maddie Garrick. And they're just getting a little bit sloppy in their defensive box outs, which allowed the talent of Melbourne Boomers to come away with some offensive rebounds and some easy shots.
Number of new faces, which we've touched on throughout. Just 4 returning players for the Sydney Uni Flames. Carly Bogue, she's been there in the past. Nice basket for her. Here's Nat Burton, and that was really the moment. If you were to pick one in that opening half of basketball, Ezzy McMcGaw back from the WNBA. Her star continues to rise, and a big block on an experienced opal in Nat Burton.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what happens there in the second half. Ali Schwagmeyer, when I talk about her, she was 2 of 10. I thought she had some great moments, but I think she'll need to fix up that shooting percentage, that drive there that we see on screen. Great job against the likes of Ezzy with that length. I would be scared to go up against that. But also, Lauren Mansfield has done a great job in that first half, attacking and leading the way in the point guard for the Sydney Uni Flames.
So 43-31. It's a 12-point margin at halftime the Melbourne Boomers way, and yet they found themselves trailing for large periods of that opening quarter. They had to really turn around that deficit. We'll get to Ezzy McMcGaw in just a moment, but Tess Madge, and you touched on her a little bit and what she was able to do here. She's got so much experience in the league, and I feel like this is someone who she's always been on the fringes of the Opal squad. When we talk about Tess Madge, and she's always one of the players that we're looking at thinking, is she going to make it? Is she not? How does it become her year this year, Tess Madge, and if she's able to keep putting in performances like that?
Well, one, I think it's keeping her body on track. She's had a few injuries in the past, especially with her knee. I think coming back to Melbourne is great for her. She had some great years under Guy Malloy early in 2017 especially, and I think she feels comfortable there. And once she has her confidence, you'll see this different type of Tess Madge compared to when she played for Townsville. So I think she's going to go strength to strength, and I can't wait, or I'm going to enjoy watching the two-man game, especially with her and Kayla George and Ezzy McMcGaw as well.
You mentioned Ezzy's name. She's the star. She's back in this league. She's got a shiny ring on her finger as well as a champion winner in the WNBA with the Seattle Storm. Let's take a look at a little bit of her first half. It started slow. She didn't have a point in the opening quarter from her first 6 minutes, and we touched on the block moments ago, but it really got her going, that little passage. Firstly, this on the offensive end, and then was able to go down with the big block on Nat Burton. Yeah,
look, her 13 minutes in the first half is probably nothing to write home about, but I don't know if it's due to Ezzy. She was presenting quite well down in the low block, probably could have given a better look into the post at times, but I think she just needs to, eventually just take a bit of ownership and go out there and dominate like we know that she can.
I remember covering her in the Commonwealth Games. I think she was 18 at the time, and now she's since gone away, won a championship in the WNBA in her rookie season. What is it about her? For people that watch her throughout this tournament in the WNBL and they see her at her best, what is it about Ezzy McMcGaw that makes her so great and such a prodigious talent?
One, I think it's her length and her natural athleticism that she has. It's beautiful to watch. But secondly, she's just a great teammate. She's a beautiful person to have around, and I think that's why she injects a lot. She's happy to play any role, but I think it's time now that she takes that leap, not only on the court but also in a leadership capacity as well, because she's going to be relied on heavily, especially with Liz Cambage in that Opals lineup.
Playing alongside the likes of Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart, that'll certainly do it for Ezzy Magbegor. It's one way to fast-track your development at just 21 years of age. She is a real star. We'll tell you more about Ezzy Magbegor throughout the tournament, I'm sure, and more about the Melbourne Boomers. They're in title contention. They're 12 points up here at halftime over the Sydney Uni Flames. They did trail by 6 points early in that second quarter and were able to turn it around. A little earlier on, obviously, it is NAIDOC week at the moment for those of you that aren't aware, and the Welcome to Country, which we'll see throughout the tournament and throughout the season in the WNBL, and this is how it unfolded a little earlier at the Townsville Stadium.
Wonderfully, everybody, wonderfully means welcome, greetings, goodbye in my Birringabba language. Melbourne and Sydney, welcome to our beautiful country. We have Mount Stewart, what we call Mundalgun, and we believe there's a great spirit in that mountain, and he oversees everything, protects everybody. So I hope that he protects each and every one of you.
Welcome to Country a little earlier in Townsville, so it's a 12-point game at halftime, the Melbourne Boomers over the Sydney Uni Flames. Corbin Middlemass and Jenny Screen on hand. What else stood out to you in the opening quarter? Were there any players that particularly grabbed you, Jenny, that you thought, wow, I was excited by what they were able to do in that opening term?
I was just intrigued to see Annalie Maley step up into a starting role. Obviously, I spoke about throughout the game that she was off the bench in a role for the Southside Flyers last year. So nice to see her embrace that opportunity. I think she'll grow in that position the more confidence she gets. Lauren Scherf, I think she's been patchy as well and had some good minutes here or there. She just needs to combine them some more. For the Melbourne Boomers, I mean, we can't go past their starting lineup and obviously their contributions off the bench. But for me, Tess Madgen has led the way. Maddie Garrick, it seems like she's using that pull-up J really well, which means obviously her ankle is well on the mend, but I think she is yet to find her strap. She will probably peak towards the midway mark of the season.
What were your expectations coming in on the Flames? Did you think that they were a playoff contending team? Are they in that bracket just outside? If you had to sort of put them in a particular zone, what were your thoughts on the Flames looking at the way the roster's currently constructed?
I was excited because there were some players on here that are getting new opportunity, and I was also intrigued by the girls that have come across from the West in terms of Mansfield and also Alison Swagmeyer-Belger as well, who can inject a little bit of punch. They've got some flair about them and a little bit of tenacity and grit, which I think obviously that I spoke about in the pre-game talk about they need that, and Katrina Hibbert I think is wanting that from this team. I think they missed that last year. They have obviously foregone losing Alice Kunik, who's got playing sensationally in Poland, and obviously Ali Wilson, who's gone to Adelaide and had a great job, did a great game last night for Adelaide Lightning, getting their first win. So for me, it's just going to be interesting. I think they're just going to have to find their feet a little bit. You probably expect them to be down at halftime against the Melbourne Boomers, who have been in the finals for a long time, but let's see what they're made of in this second half.
So 6 up in the opening quarter and now find themselves 12 down at the half. The Melbourne Boomers seemingly in control in this game. Townsville is the location tonight. It is the first of what is going to be 12 double headers in Townsville. Let's take a look at North Queensland and the beautiful far North Queensland, which is really the host for the entire WNBL season. We're obviously going to have games played across Townsville, Mackay, and also in Cairns throughout the tournament so far, throughout the season. But this is obviously the pictures that we're getting of Townsville, such a beautiful place in the world. I've been lucky enough to be there on a number of occasions, and fair to say it's a die-hard basketball city as well. They love their hoops up there in Townsville.
They do, and so they should. We're putting on a great product there, and it's a credit to obviously Basketball Australia, head of basketball Lauren Jackson, but also Queensland government for being able to allow us this opportunity. It's been an unusual 2020, and especially for the Melbourne teams, not being able to train, compete for such a long time. But it's so exciting to see our basketball on the screens and up there in the heat and the warmth leading into summer. So no doubt these girls are going to get some tans as well.
Absolutely. I certainly need one as well. So Very envious of everyone that's up there and seeing some sun over the next few weeks or so. So that's Townsville. The Melbourne Boomers, an interesting watch throughout this tournament. They're obviously one team that haven't had a lot of preparation time together. We spoke about the fact that the Sydney Uni Flames have been together for 6 weeks. Some people say 6 weeks doesn't seem like a lot of a pre-season. Well, in this competition, that's a lot of time. There's some teams that have been together for 2 weeks and they're only first getting together during the quarantine stage.
Yeah, well, look, if you ask most players, I think they'd be happy with a 6-week, even a 2-week pre-season. Every girl or player just wants to play rather than train and have a pre-season. So for me, I think it's exciting for the Melbourne Boomers that they've been able to hold their continuity in terms of their culture, their identity. They've got 8 returning players. 5 of New Zealand players, so we could probably call them the Melbourne Tall Ferns as such, but it's interesting to see that these girls obviously are having a great time up there. Now I want to see if they can actually push for that final. They've been around the mark for a little bit of time now, but can they actually get to that grand final and win that elusive championship?
We've seen teams in the NBA and the WNBA, they've had to get creative introducing their players, and the Melbourne Boomers have done that as well by coming up with a few introductions for their players sent from home.
Izzy Wright from Melbourne, Australia. Number 10 for the Melbourne Boomers.
From Melbourne, Australia. Number 13.
Ezzy.
All the way from Wellington, New Zealand, our friend Stella Beck. Number 21 for the Boomers. Let's go! We love you!
Introducing from Cairns, Queensland, yours truly, a 6'4" giraffe, your co-captain from Melbourne Boomers, Kayla George.
Excellent introductions.
Oh, I love it, and I love the fact that Kailu, George's husband, could probably be the only person that could get away with calling his wife a giraffe. But I love that we spread in terms of it's not just Australians that are watching, that it's going to New Zealand and people are getting involved all around, the place, enjoying what we're putting on.
Thoughts of Jenny Screen alongside myself, Corbin Middlemass on hand. The second half coming up in Townsville Stadium. It's a 12-point spread at the half and 15 points for Tess Madgen leading the way for the Melbourne Boomers. 43-31.
There's the lineup coming back out for the Boomers. Their starters to hit the floor early in this second half. Tess Madgen and Stella Beck in the backcourt. Maddie Garrick at the 3, Ezzy Magbagor and Kayla George in the front court. It'll be possession for the Sydney Uni Flames. Schwagmeyer Belger with the inbounds pass, and we're ready to go. Second half action. It's just night number 2, the premier week in the WNBL. Boomers Flames. It's the team from Melbourne up by 12 at the half. Burton hands it off to Mansfield. Drives, tries to finish over Magbagor. No good. Maley mops it up. Schwagmeyer Belger catches back in the midcourt. A block call, trying to draw the charge. Back unsuccessfully.
Great little 1%ers there early on in this third quarter, I should say, the Sydney Uni Flames. That's going to be crucial for them trying to get back on this lead that the Melbourne Boomers have. This first couple of minutes is going to be interesting and going to prove crucial in terms if they're going to be any chance of winning.
Schwagmeyer Belger with the inbounds. Maley. Back to Schwagmeyer up top. Loose pass over to Mansfield. Just got it to her. Along the baseline. Scherf, long range 2. Front of the rim. No good. Burton, offensive board. Chance to reload for the Flames. Spin move. Schwagmeyer Belger. Shot up. No good. Magbagor, strong defensive rebound. Gets the stop for the Boomers. Oh, George, what a pass to Magbagor, driving through the lane, puts the shot up, she's fouled.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head there, Corbin. Great pass by Kayla George, but even better from Ezzy, being able to run down that middle lane as a 4-man. Love to see that from those type of players. Unfortunate down the other end that the Sydney Uni Flames couldn't capitalise on those 2 offensive rebounds and get some points on the board.
First shot good for Ezzy. 21-year-old, 193 centimetres. Already a WNBA champion, Magbagor. 2 of 2 at the line. Scoring starts the Boomers' way in this second half, so 45-31, and already a stop here into front court. George knocks it down. McGregor, the bounce pass to Imagine, can't finish. McGregor again with the rebound. Tough shot goes up. Foul called. More foul shots.
There you go. There you go. Just a few little plays are coming Ezzy's way, and we're seeing her utilise that length of hers and getting herself to the foul line yet again, where she can be a danger.
McGregor, first shot up. It's good.
One shot.
Oh, misses the second. Burton grabs the rebound. 15-point game, new game high. Mansfield to Scherf off the window, doesn't finish. A rebound for McGregor.
And they're the frustrating wins when you look back at this game, that those little gimme buckets that the Sydney Uni Flames have missed now, and obviously in the first half that they've been crucial.
Step back for Garrick, no good on the three-point attempt. Maley to Burton. Mansfield. Oh, there's an offensive foul called on Burton for an illegal screen on Stella Beck. Hits the hardwood, the whistle goes. Boomers back in possession. Chemist Warehouse replay.
Unfortunate there.
Maley putting the pressure on Imagine. Just beats the 8 seconds into the front court. Imagine with 15 first half points, led all scorers. It's just pulled up. Puts it on the floor to McGregor. Shot up, tough one. Grabs her own rebound and finishes over the top of Schwagmeyer. Nice shot, Ezzy McGregor off the glass.
Way to make something out of nothing there. Tess Madgen left wondering on that three-point line, but then Ezzy came to the rescue and finished with a nice two-point bucket. But right now, Corbin, Sydney have to find a way to get some points on the board. They're creating too many turnovers and not enough looks, but can't just find the bottom of the rim either.
Let's pick it up. We go, Orange, you guys. Let's go.
No one even wants to take the ball out of bounds for the Sydney Uni Flames.
On the inbounds. It's O'Hare with the bounce pass. Schwagmeyer Belga dumps it down to Scherf. Gonna work her way around the charge circle.
It's on 22. Hands foul.
There's a foul called on Kayla George. She can't believe it. Her third personal.
It's a hard line, isn't it? Because you want the girls down low to be able to play with physicality and dominate down there, but you just got to know the fine line, and unfortunately that wasn't one for Kayla.
Scherf shot up, doesn't drop. McGregor again with the rebound in transition. Garrick, pump fake, swings it to the weak side, 45. George to Beck, back to George for three, left it short. Garrick, long rebound. Still with the Boomers. McGregor out to Beck, puts it on the floor. Shot blocked. Nice work, Scherf.
Great drive there. A better option would have been a nice little dump down pass to Ezzy, who probably would have, got up there and touched the rim, I think, had she been allowed to. But nice penetration nonetheless by Stella Beck.
Inbounds for the Boomers, finds George up top. No, she's a threat from there, pulls up off the dribble, misses everything. Floats over the baseline, Flames ball.
And again, those situations, we've had a few shot clock violations, not being aware of the shot clock. Probably a coach's worst nightmare of their players out there on the court not being aware of those things.
17-point margin. Haven't had a point yet in this second half, which is now 3 minutes old from the Flames. It's 12 at the half. McGregor with majority of them early stages, second half rather. Nice shot. Mansfield falling onto the hardwood makes it.
There you go. That was a better play there. Great ball movement. The intensity of that play was better, which allowed Lauren Mansfield to get up some speed on her downhill penetration towards the basket.
Tough shot goes up from Tess Madgen. Nice runner over the defence. That's 17 points now for Madgen. 17-point game. Bogue, spin move. Shot is Greaves, in fact, spin move. Shot goes up, no good. Retrieved by Maley. Put back, nice for two.
No, unfortunately, that was an offensive foul, a disappointing one, because I thought she did a great job there to get the boards. But now here, the question is for me, you're up by 17 points. You've still got your starters on. Tess Madgen's played 20 minutes already, and we're only 4 minutes into this third quarter. Do you start making rotations and using your bench, knowing full well this is the first game of the season? And like we said, they've got 22 games in 39 days.
Next time we'll see the Boomers will be Saturday. At 5 p.m. slot, Australian Eastern Daylight Time up against the Southside Flyers. Catch and shoot situation for Garrick, and it tumbles. Nice finish. Out to 20. The Flames through Mansfield. Bailey puts it on the floor. Back up top to Greaves, to Scherf. Oh, shot left a little short. A shot clock violation call. It'll be Boomers ball. See the rebounding stats there on screen. It's 19 in favour of the Boomers, and that tells a fair story. Timeout called by Katrina Hibbert. The Sydney Uni Flames are going to chat it over. They led the game by 6 early on. You don't need me to do the maths and the turnaround. It's a 20-point margin at the moment the Boomers' way, halfway through this third. Yeah,
a crucial timeout. They've scored 2 points in this opening 5 minutes of the third quarter. They've got to find ways to either get stops on the defensive end to gain momentum and push them downhill towards the bucket on the offensive end, or they've got to find the bottom end of the bucket, and that's not happening for them now, and they're shooting less than 30% from the field.
Katrina Hibbert.
Our defense, so get some traps, get some rotations, see if we can't get some steals and push it, because there's nothing to lose at this stage. On the score, everybody's up. Running jumps. On free throws, we're going to press. All right? We're going to have to junk it up, but we're going to have to push it. We'll get some rotations.
Go.
Fair points made there by Coach Katrina Hibbert. There is nothing to lose at this point, so they might as well do what they said they were going to do. You know, Katrina Hibbert spoke about at the start of the game, they're going to be run and gun, a little bit of flair and get on the glass, so why not do it now? They're down by 20. There's technically nothing to lose except getting a worse margin, but they also could pull it back a little bit here and show a little bit of grit and determination to claw back against a caliber team like the Melbourne Boomers.
53-33, 20-point game.
Let me just just be 1 sec. The timeouts aren't coming off the scoreboard. Yeah, just good. We're good.
I heard the refs just mentioning the timeouts on the screen in the arena.
The scoreboard, so just letting everyone know.
Making sure that coaches aren't caught short. You ever called a timeout when you haven't had one, Jenny?
What was the question, sorry?
You ever called a timeout when you didn't have one available to you?
Well, no, that rule only that's never applied for us in the FIBA rules. That's more an NBA and a WNBA thing. We can't just call timeout whenever we want it. It's never been allowed in our game. So, no, I've never done that, actually, thank goodness.
There's Ezzy Magpagall, more third quarter points for her. Nice bounce pass. Nice finish in the rack, Annalie Maley. Points on both sides of the floor. Ezzy Magpagall getting her scoring going. She's up to 5 points already in this third term. Garrick puts up the little runner off the front of the rim, no good. Maley grabs the rebound. Mansfield calling for the pick. Greaves sets it. Mansfield still on the perimeter. Little step back on Magpagall. Kicks it out to Carly Bogue. Now to Nakasoglu. Foul call. It's on Garrick. Hands foul.
Sydney Flames are doing a great job with their pick and roll, but their spacing on the weak side is a little bit too messy. There's not enough spacing there. Bogues is too high up on the three-point line. They need to step around a little bit to allow the two-man game to be explored between Lauren Mansfield and whoever else is in the pick and roll.
Jump ball called. Possession arrow is with the Boomers. Fortunate break for the Flames. Already down 20. 4.5 to go in the third. Madgen. Oh, away to George, just got it to Magbagor. Shook Bogue. Catch and shoot situation for Madgen, and it tumbles up top. Tess Madgen, the second triple of the night. She's up to 20 points. Flames through Nakasoglu. Catch and shoot situation. Answers in the other end.
And if you look up what definition of the type of player that Funda is, it is that she is apparently a lethal three-point shooter. So hopefully we get to see this. She hasn't seen much court time tonight, but as the season progresses, perhaps we'll see that a lot more from her.
Right down to Magbagor, trying to back her way in. Almost lost the handle. Right, picks it up. There's a whistle on the play.
It's on goal 3. Hands foul, baseline.
That was goal number 3, Funda Nakasoglu. And it's 5 3-thirds, 5 deep fouls, beg your pardon.
Oh, they're in the bonus. So foul shots coming up. Is he right to go to the line?
And that hurts the Sydney Uni Flames, you know, when you're trying to be up and in and create some disruption, and now you kind of have to be careful, because every time you foul, you're sending them to the foul line, and which could stretch out the leader. And in case in point with Izzy right at the foul line.
This is her second. First one's good, 21-point game. Down by 12 at halftime, the Flames have been outscored again quite considerably in this third quarter. Nakasoglu tries again from long range. No good. George over the top with a strong defensive board. Tess Madgen with 20 leading all scorers. Back to George. He's right. Dribble penetration. Pulls up for the tough shot over Nakasoglu. No good. Flames come up with it. 21-point spread. Flames led the game by 6 in the opening quarter. Nakasoglu testing her range. Misses.
She's definitely making the most of her opportunities at the moment. Every chance she gets, she's looking for a shot, saying, "Coach, put me in," but they're not just falling, but down the other end. Kayla George doing what she's doing well, finding buckets to go with her 7 rebounds. She now has 8 points.
Now a vet in the league at 31 years of age, Kayla George, 15th WNBL season.
Blocking foul, 2 shots.
Yeah, she's had a great career, as we see, head of WNBL, Lauren Jackson, legend of our game, with her family and her 2 sons, has made the trip up to oversee this great season of women's basketball that we have the fortune to see live on TV every single game. It's exciting for our game, especially.
Big commitment for mum too in 2 weeks of quarantine with 2 boys under 3.
Yeah, hectic, I would say. Look, I don't have any children, but 2 boys, and being Lauren's children, no doubt they would have been ruling the roost and keeping mum awake, but I'm sure she has them on strict routines and bed early.
19-point margin. Karadiana shoots the 3, no good. Sure for the rebound, up to Mansfield. Down to Bogue, who puts up the tough shot, doesn't drop. She'll go to the line though, Chris Bogue, to shoot a couple.
And again, when you see that teams get stops, creates momentum for you and then allows opportunities on the offensive end. You can see Bogue comes in here, Mansfield with that cheeky pass on obviously the switch and the closeout to find her fellow teammate and get her to the line.
Reunited with an identical twin, Carly, in the lineup this year. They were both part of the championship winning team on the extended roster when the Flames last won in the 16-17 season.
I don't know, have we ever had twins in the league? I might have to go back to the history books to find that one. I'm not sure. That could be the first twins we've had in the WNBL.
Missed both. Margin remains at 19. Tess Madgen out to Karadiana, shoots the 3 off the iron. Chris Bogue with the rebound. Mansfield, look away pass out to the corner. Nakasoglu shoots the 3, no good. Rebound for Scherf, gives it back to Bogue. This time it drops. It's the points she left at the free throw line moments ago. 2 minutes left in the third term. Wide margin. Boomers in control. Madgen for more. Driving all the way home. The left-hand finger roll. She's up to 22 for the night, Tess Madgen.
Talk about driving at home. I think she's feeling at home in this uniform, and the Melbourne Boomers are probably clapping their hands that she's back in their colours, that's for sure, but a nice little scoop finish. But again, good job here by the Sydney Uni Flames to create the mismatches and the switches, because they're penetrating and having the pick and rolls and able to get to the foul line and slowly peg away at that scoreline. But you've got to be able to put drain the free throws. That would help.
21-point game. Christina Bogue at the line to shoot a couple. Sydney Uni Flames 7-14 last year. They were 5 games out of playoff contention though, as we saw that big gap between the top 4 and the rest. Both shots good on this trip. Chris Bogue. 19-point spread again. It's hovered around this margin for the last 5 minutes or so. Oh, is he right? Almost missed margin. Pressure on, lost the handle. Picked off by Schwagmeyer Belger, who drives it home for 2. Full court press on. Davidson just over the halfway line. Out to Margin. Margin close to 17. Hand on the way through from Scherf and over the baseline. Boomers will get it back.
Lucky there for the Melbourne Boomers. That slipped out of the hand of Tess Margin, but caught the hand of the Sydney Uni Flames on its way out of bounds. Another look here from the baseline.
Right with the inbounds. Margin, extra pass away to Karadiana. Right shoots from the corner. Scherf blocks the shot. Last touch by Izzy Wright. And as a result, it'll be a Flames ball in their backcourt. So they're getting some stops now, trying to take something out of this. In fact, it was a foul called on Izzy Wright. Chopping the arms on the way through, and they're in the bonus. So Flames are walking the length of the floor. Another look at that. Talk us through it, Jenny Screen.
Yeah, great closeout there by Lauren Scherf to get the block, and then you can see Allison just getting pushed there by the Izzy Wright and sees her to the foul line. Again, getting stops creates momentum. Hopefully they're in a full court pressure here again and putting Melbourne Boomers under the pump.
Wright does well, navigates it into the front court. Purcell finds Margin. She's played good minutes, Tess Margin. 25 plus, 22 points. Still out there, latter stages of the third, 15-point game. Purcell, loose handle, lost it. Final minute in the game clock before three-quarter time. Schwagmeyer Belger has it knocked away from her by Purcell. Flames will get it back underneath their own basket.
Let's go.
Great little change up there by the Sydney Uni Flames on the defensive end, showing up in a 2-3 to create that turnover by Kalani Purcell. And another player that loves a spin move like Tess Margin is Alison Schwagmeyer Belger.
Nakasoglu finds her teammate in the corner. Scherf pulls up from the free throw line. Again, it rims out.
And that's the difference, Corbin, is just missing those shots. We would sit here talking about Sydney being down by 20. It'd be a close game if they could just put the hole in the rim, because they've looked after it. They've only got 7 turnovers for the game.
Margin driving, time expiring, shot up, foul. Tess Margin to go to the line to shoot a couple.
Surely she deserves a break after these foul shots. What do you think?
I absolutely hear you. They've got a heavy schedule, as every team in the league does. She's played good minutes tonight.
Look, she probably doesn't even want to come off. I mean, when you're playing like she is and has 22 points, 4 rebounds to her name, she's like, leave me out here. I want to play. I'm shooting at a great clip, 71% from the field. Back on the court where I played last year for the Townsville Fire, so why would she want to come off? But it's a marathon, not a sprint this season. 6
seconds left on the game clock. Second shot up from Margin. Doesn't get the user-friendly roll. Offensive board, though. Purcell back up top. Karadiana shoots the 3. No good. Schwagmeyer pulls down the board as time runs out in the third. 64-48. To the Boomers by 16. They have led at every change. They led by 2 points at quarter time. They led by 12 at the half, and now they lead by 16 points at three-quarter time. The margin did get as wide as 23 at one stage in that third quarter, so the Flames with a little run late just to peg it back to a 16-point margin at three-quarter time. Jenny Screen.
Yeah, great job there by the Melbourne Boomers to hold the lead. You knew that Sydney Uni Flames were going to try and come out and change things up a little bit, but it didn't work for them in that first 5 minutes. They only scored 2 points, but credit where credit's due. We asked Ezzy to step up. She now has a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds to her name, and will continue that in the fourth quarter. But now, again, we talk about Guy and his rotations and being smart here. He hasn't really used his bench. There's 2 players that haven't been on. It'll be interesting to see if they get their opportunities, given the margin that is 16 points.
Let's hear what Guy Malloy has for us.
So what?
Flinder's hit a couple, so know where she is, where she's in.
Okay, so deal with pressure and then get into what we want to get into. Look, we talked about getting our open side pick and roll. So we get to that. If we make decisive plays, we're really good. These guys are operating here. Let's see if we can find a little bit more of that. On the weak side, our spacing's not good. This guy, the shooter I want spotting up, this guard is hugging the three-point line. That's not where you are, and the weak side postman is just waiting down there. Again, we can throw a blanket over that. One guy can guard 3 of you. That's not how we want to play it, right? So make sure we get to really good floor spots. Spread them out, get our eyes to the rim and attack more.
Yeah.
So we're getting you on the ring. That's really great. We need other, like you can go right now on these guys. Post-ups. Don't make a crowd for people. Spread the floor, move the ball. We'll figure it out. Go to work. Go to work. All right, here we go.
Let's go. Rimmers on 3, 1, 2, 3. Rimmers. What do you want on the
Great. Great communication there by Guy Malloy when he talks about the side pick and roll and keeping the spacing. What that means is the defense has to decide if the pick and roll is great and it comes off and it creates a switch, then obviously the split line has to go across and help, and then that allows for a kick on rotation on the offensive end, and then you can attack and re-penetrate as they have been doing. But it's crucial that the spacing on the weak side is really good to allow that 2-man game to unfold.
Rebounding count plus 15 in favour of the Boomers, which tells a story in a game which has a 16-point margin at the moment. The Boomers' way into the final term we go. Mansfield in the mid-court coming across from Perth. They dare Greaves to shoot. It's wild, no good. Schwagmeyer Pelger keeps it alive, and Nakasoplu comes up with it. Runs out of time. The board lights up. Shot clock violation. The Boomers will get it back.
And again, another unfortunate start to a quarter, disjointed, dysfunctional set there by the Sydney Uni Flames. It's kind of been the theme for the game. We saw that at the start of the third. Hopefully they can rectify this early in the fourth quarter.
Imagine still out there. Stella back. This is Garrick. Away to Purcell, back to Garrick. Draws the double team. Time running out, just gets the shot away, bouncing off the iron, and Carly Bogue ends up with it. Flames back the other way. Final quarter action. Scherf, tough shot, makes it.
Finally, that's 2 of 9 for Lauren Scherf for the field. Again, something that she's been lacking consistently in her career is the ability to just find the touch around the rim, and evident here tonight with 2 of 9 from the field.
Garrick puts her shot up again, it rims out. Schwagmeyer Belger pulls down the board. Quick feed through to Bogue, puts up a tough shot underneath the basket, doesn't drop, draws the foul. Foul shots coming up. Another look at that.
And again, nice little crafty find by Lauren Mansfield there to put the ball where it's needed for her teammate to get herself to the line.
It's 6 to 3/4 time. Won't add to her tally on that first foul shot.
1 shot.
Second shot's good. So back to 13 points, 64 to 51. One stage in that third quarter, Jenny, they trailed by 23, the Flames, so they've fought on here.
Yep, and like Guy Malloy said to his troops in that 3/4 break, you've got to deal with pressure.
Oh.
And that's a good way of dealing with pressure, is being able to move the ball. 2-3 zone there shown by the Sydney Uni Flames, and nice little slash cut there by Kalani Purcell to find herself a nice little 2-point bucket.
Imagine credited with the dime. Here's Schwagmeyer driving and then travelling. Called for the walk. Boomers ball, 15-point margin.
They should have just gone up for a nice little runner there, but Tess Madgen came across from the weak side to give her a little stutter and causing the turnover.
Full court press on again. Madgen trying to get it into the front court. Dumps it underneath the bucket. Away to Purcell, lost the handle. Able to force the turnover. The defensive pressure, great ball movement. Carly Bode not fouled. At least it wasn't called underneath the basket, trying to lay it home. 5-on-4 up the floor. Back to Purcell. Purcell up top. This is Madgen. Leading scorer tonight. Hands it out to Magbagor. Flat mid-range jumper, no good. First leg of the doubleheader, second game tonight on the same floor. Bendigo and the Southside Flyers, two Victorian teams going at it. Liz Cambage making her return to the league.
How exciting is that?
Ooh, big time.
I do remember saying she'd never play in the league again, but I am excited that she's back. I think it's great for women's basketball, exciting with Tokyo just around the corner. She adds flair, she's a dynamic person, we know that, and I think she's going to bring some great energy to the WNBL this year, and I look forward to seeing her don that Southside Flyers uniform.
Their team is crewed up as well. You look at the lineup.
Are they? What? 5, I think, opals on that lineup, and pressure's on to get that championship, isn't it?
Be interesting to see how they go about it as to what they do. You put Liz in that lineup, there's got to be an obligation somewhere along the line to try and use her as much as possible offensively. They've got so many weapons.
Yeah, well, the great thing is, though, they had Mercedes Russell last year, so they know what it's like to play with a girl of her size, or a woman, I should say. So that'll be no different, and they have a lot of smart players, Leilani Mitchell and Jenna Hay, to name a few. So they know how to play with those type of players, and I think they're going to play an exciting brand of basketball, and I hope, and I cannot wait till the Melbourne Boomers go head-to-head with them this season, because I think it's going to be an exciting contest.
You won't have to wait long. Saturday afternoon, Boomers Flyers get us going, and then on the Sunday, Flyers in action again. So they'll play 3 times before Sunday, Southside.
Oh, goodness. And that's part of the puzzle. We talked about that in terms of the chess piece for the coaches. How do you manage minutes? We know that there are a lot of veteran players for the Southside Flyers, as there is for the Melbourne Boomers in Kayla George and Tess Madgen. They're plus 30 in terms of age. And fatigue is going to play a factor, no doubt.
Magbagor through traffic, lays it in for 2. Nice work, Ezzy Magbagor, big second half.
And she's just done it just quietly. You wouldn't notice that she's done it, but she just has this ability to rack up points and get some rebounds.
Scherf tries again, off target. Long rebound, Mansfield tries her hand, that's better.
I've been impressed by Mansfield tonight. Perth Lynx season last year, she was very much up and down, not that consistent. But, you know, credit where credit's due. They're down by 13 points now on the back of that long bomb from Mansfield. But she's held the floor for them, I think. 11 points, or I should say 14, and 6 assists to go with that. Great showing from her in this first game.
A couple of seasons with Perth, as she said before that. We saw her with South East Queensland and the Caps. Originally from Adelaide, part of the Opals squad, the extended squad on the lead up to Rio. Oh, that's just as we're singing her praises. Throws a turnover straight to Magbagor.
It's always the way. It's always the way. Blame it on the commentators.
Strikes early in the year. Boomers back on offense. George, a little too clever, trying to knock it down to Magbagor. The passing lane taken away by her hair. Mansfield off the dribble here. Hand on it from Beck. Blocks the shot. Boomers recover the ball. George tries to find Garrick, and over the sideline it goes. Boomers will get it in their backcourt. 5:30 to go. Timeout called. It's a 13-point game, so it was 16 at three-quarter time. The Flames are winning this final term. They did lead the game early on by 6 points in the opening quarter. Really, they were blown off the court the latter stages of that first quarter and into the second term. At one stage in the third quarter, the Boomers led it by 23. It's currently 13 to spread. Melbourne lead it. Here's Guy Malloy, the coach of the Boomers. He's
having Maley on you. We'll keep putting you on the ring, and Kayla, you're on the 5. So you'll be on the trail. All right, so now we can look at that on transition. We can go directly in on the pass ahead. 3 guards, you've got to break the pressure decisively. You've got to attack the thing a lot more. You're way too passive. But it doesn't mean once we break the pressure that we have to take something that's a bad shot for us. Break the pressure and then get back into basic or reverse. We'll find it. Or I think that strong's a really good look for us now. So find our targets. Ezzy on Malik. Right? In fact, let's give that a look right now out of strong, and you be the ball side and Kayla will be the reverse. If we can throw it directly into Ez on that side and you attack on right hand. Well, here you go.
I love it that they've got their seats, you know, spaced 1.5 centimetres apart, and then you come in for a huddle and hands in and it goes out the window. It's quite interesting to watch. This whole experience has been interesting, to say the least.
So we did mention about how the minutes were going to be managed. Obviously, it's such a long tournament. The other thing is that the girls just haven't had that much time together. So I guess it's trying to get the balance between how do you work on your sets and get some match sim that the girls have craved over a period, and yet also be able to keep enough tread on the tyre, knowing that obviously it's going to be such a condensed season. It's going to go at such a pace. But you obviously want to be peaking at the back end.
Yeah, a great point. You do want to be peaking at the back end, but you also want to get that first win under your belt to get some confidence. And there's a fine line with, you've got to tread with knowing when and how to do it, because basketball's a game of momentum, and momentum can be changed just like that. So a 13-point lead might sound okay, but it just takes a couple of stops and a few buckets, and it's back to a 5-point game.
There's Ezzy Magbagor off the window for 2. A little more breathing room, out to 15.
Guy will be very happy with that, because they executed exactly what he wanted out of the timeout, finding Ezzy for that nice little dump down and 2-point finish.
O'Hare to Burton, long range 2. No good. George pulls down the defensive rebound. Good again tonight. Kayla George, one of the 3 in the Opal squad. The lineup for the Boomers, along with Tess Madgen and Ezzy Magbagor, of course. Garrick. Fade away, off the top of the backboard, gets it to drop.
You know what I love about Maddie, and I love this about the game, and is her mid-range game, her ability to pull up Jay. For so long in the last couple of years for basketball, it's been finish on the rim and shoot the long-range 3. For players, and especially women, if you can come off that pick and roll.
Oh, Rowe caught in a tangle with Garrick. They both hit the floor. Both bounce back up.
Definitely bounce back up. And as we talked about Maddie there, the one that hitting the floor pretty hard there. But, you know, if you have the ability to come off the pick and roll, oh, nice little fall on the hardwood from both of there. But continuing, Corbin, if you have the ability to add to your toolkit the mid-range pull-up, I think it makes you a bigger threat in this game. And the more we use the pick and roll and the ability to do that, it's exciting to watch. So Maddie, continue it, and the youngsters watching at home, make sure you're working on that mid-range pull-up.
Wood hasn't got too much given it. Foul shots made by Kira Rowe.
This court's really good though. There's a bit of give in it. I've spilled a fair bit of blood on that court, broke my nose.
Oh.
Miss Flanagan, if she's listening, no doubt, cracked me a good one.
Happy to take your word for all of that. Jenny, I might have go down in that kind of fashion. They work their way through the full court trap. Karadiana to George, trying to set up the offense. Beck to Madgen. Pick and roll with Magbagor. Catches on the elbow, drives. Nice layup for 2, Ezzy Magbagor.
Smooth. Again, we talk about that 2-man game. You're going to see it a lot with Tess and Ezzy and Kayla and probably Kalani Purcell as well.
17-point margin. O'Hare. Weak side 45. Nagasoglu shoots the 3. Long rebound. Recovers. Funda driving. Foul. Foul shots coming up. Rebounding numbers closed a little bit. Just 12 the differential at the moment.
Number 32 returning for the Flames is Alison Schrottmeyer.
Front court a real threat for the Melbourne Boomers. Kayla George and Ezzy Magbagor at the 4 and 5 spot. Funda hits the first at the line. The path ahead for these teams, Sydney Uni Flames, They got back-to-backs this weekend. They played Bendigo on Saturday and the Southside Flyers on the Sunday. First 5 games all in Townsville. Then they play the Fire and the Lightning before making their way to Cairns. Final 3 minutes coming up. Beck hands it off to Madgen. What a night she's had. 23 points for Tess Madgen. All of them coming before three-quarter time. Dumps it down to Karadiana and finishes. Met solidly. 2 defenders closing in, and Karadiana, New Zealand tall fern, makes it and 1 to come at the line.
I've been impressed with her minutes that she's had tonight. I mean, there's been about 14 minutes that she's played, but I think she's been quite productive. I mean, the stats probably don't show it, but she's getting to the right spaces. She's using her body well and taking the shots when they're open. So credit to her, considering it's her first year in the Melbourne Boomers uniform.
Makes the 1 at the line. Carly Bogan for Nat Burton, as you see.
Yeah, Nat Burton, a bit underwhelming tonight, I think. You know, 18 minutes, hasn't really shown much on the stat sheet, and she's not the type of player that does, but 4 turnovers doesn't help her tonight. But it may take her a couple of weeks to find her feet. It's been over 12 months since she's played in Australia, and but I'm sure Katrina Hibbert will be expecting big things from her.
Now at 31, Nat Burton, formerly with Perth and also with the Boomers, of course. Rio Olympian. Up next, Southside and Bendigo. Second leg of the doubleheader. 18-point margin, final 3 minutes. Is he right? Away to George. Ooh, pass to Karadiana, and the end through it to the ref.
Again, always the way. You give someone credit, and then the next play down, they turn it over for you, you know? Come on now.
The Melbourne Boomers, their run ahead. They play the Southside Flyers on Saturday, then they have Perth on Monday in Mackay. So just the first 2 games in Townsville. Games in Mackay against Perth and the 2-time defending champs, the Canberra Capitals. Nice shot off the dribble from Laura Mansfield. Here's Davidson trying to back her way in. Jump hook, good for 2. 17-point spread. After the games in Mackay for the Boomers, they're back in Townsville, then off to Cairns and back to Townsville again. So 3 different stints in Townsville that I hope to win this season, of course. Home of the playoffs and the grand final on December 20. 17 points, the Boomers lead. Beck down to Davidson. Jump shot, no good. Trying to draw the foul, Purcell gets the call.
And that's been a telling factor this game for, you know, when we look at breaking down the statistics, it's been the rebound count. You know, 13 offensive rebounds for the Melbourne Boomers. Credit to them, but something obviously Sydney Flames have to work on going forward in their next matchup.
Final 2 minutes.
Let's get a sub.
Substitution for the Sydney Uni Flames.
Rachel Antoniato is going to come on for the Boomers. She's on the floor, in fact. Schwagmeyer sits down. O'Hare comes on for the Flames, the late change. Long inbounds, Purcell top of the perimeter. Antoniato, double team, back to Purcell. There's a whistle call, those points won't count.
Nice to see Antoniato get into the game. I mean, you take that court time whenever you get it as a youngster, and she's been in the league before. She's been around, played with Dandenong 2014, 15, 17, known for being a knockdown shooter, and also a Nunawading Spectres NBL 1 player as well, which Melbourne Boomers have quite a few from the Nunawading lineup.
Paul Flynn, of course, the senior coach with Nunawading. He's an assistant coach here with the Melbourne Boomers. Rachel Brewster, another one. Watching Kalani Purcell here at the line. 4th-year Boomer. Misses both shots. Flames come up with it. It's Rowe coming up with the ball. Now Funda, Nakasoglu driving, fouled on her way to the basket. The Turkish international will go to the line to shoot a couple.
She's another one that's had a bit of exposure tonight to the Australian game. It's been a while, 7 years since she's been here in Australia, and played in Turkey last year with a formidable outfit in Galatasaray and had exposure there, and only adds to her game. And it'll be interesting to see what she can bring. I mean, she hasn't had a great start, probably a little bit of nerves as well. 1 of 7 from the field, but I'm excited to see what she can offer this league.
Makes both here, 16-point margin. What are the big adjustments coming back, obviously, when you play around the world and returning to the WNBL, the characteristics, I guess, that are unique to this league?
I think the pace in which we play, we're very much a style of up and down. In Europe, it's a bit more half-court and exploring the inside-outside game, and you might have a little bit more specific roles. So it'll be an interesting phase for her, I think, in these first couple of games with the Sydney Uni Flames. And then you'll find her settle and find her feet, and she's still young, so plenty of time left to offer this game.
Davidson's first shot misses. University of California graduate. One of the 5 tall ferns in the lineup for the Boomers. Second shot's good. Take the 16. Funda pushes it up the floor. O'Hare double teamed. Lost the handle. Knocked away by Davidson, so it'll be Flames ball. Just repeating, next time we'll see the Sydney Uni Flames Saturday against Bendigo. Meanwhile, the Boomers, their next encounter up against the Southside Flyers. Along with Canberra, you'd think that the 3 teams really in title contention. Fascinating to see those matchups as the year unfolds. Of course, Canberra shock loss last night. Adelaide taking them into deep water, winning in overtime.
I mean, credit to where credit's due. I thought Adelaide came out firing, and they had nothing to lose. But you know, probably not a shock loss. You know, they were missing Kelsey Griffin, KG 23, from the lineup. Also Brittany Smart, I should say, and Mariana Tolo is also carrying a little bit of injury, so definitely underdone. And they did well to claw it back from 13 down to push it to overtime. But you know, Steph Talbot was massive with 31 points and 15 rebounds. What a way to start the season. And also Ali Wilson. But another person I was impressed by was Abby Werung, 15 points in the new uniform for Adelaide Lightning, having played with Bendigo last year.
We have seen that as really somewhat of a characteristic of their championship teams too, Canberra, that even if they haven't necessarily started well, they finish strong, obviously, when it's time to go.
Yeah, you don't want to be peaking in the first couple of games of the season and then drop off. You want to be up the other way around, you know, find your way, still get the wins on the board, because that's really important in terms of the table and standings, but you want to be hitting your straps towards the 3/4 mark of the season for sure.
1 shot.
Foul shots here for Antonia Farnworth. Hits the first, hits the second. Back-to-back baskets. So 16 points the margin. Final minute on the game clock here. Funda Nakasoglu shoots the 3. It's good. That's what she's capable of. We'll watch her closely. You mentioned the scout on her earlier, Jenny. She's an assassin from the 3-point line. A couple of big makes tonight. 13-point margin. First leg of the doubleheader to get the games going in Townsville. 32 of the 60 to be played here, including all of the playoffs and the grand final on December 20. Davidson, spin moves, shakes Bogue, puts it in.
Yeah, Bogue's got to keep her feet there. There was no need to fall to the ground. Just go big against big and take the brunt to allow the contest.
Funda driving, shot doesn't go. The Boomers will come up with it. Early advance, Farnworth underneath the basket. Just fouled. Block going to be called. Oh no, in fact, she had a foot on the baseline, so ball's going to go the Flames' way with 11 seconds left on the game clock. The Melbourne Boomers, heartbreak last season. They mentioned coming in that they're here to take care of the business that they didn't finish last season. Well, that's one hell of a way to start for the Melbourne Boomers. Final 3 seconds. O'Hare to end up with it is going to be a travel call, as time will just about run out on them. They've done it with relative ease. The Melbourne Boomers, there's less than 1 second on the clock, and that'll do it. A winning start for the Melbourne Boomers, 85-70. They blew it out in the second quarter, able to protect a double-digit lead from that point on. And the Boomers are away with an 85-70 win over the Sydney Uni Flames. Tess Madgen leading all scorers with 23. Ezzy Magbagor getting involved in the second half. She finished with 16 points, 14 for Maddie Garrick. A nice start for Guy Malloy and his team. The Boomers victorious 85-70 over the Flames.
Spirit taking on Southside Flyers. That game is coming up next, tip-off due at 8 o'clock.
I think there was no surprises in this contest tonight. Melbourne Boomers, obviously the Masters, they've been around the mark for a couple of years now, and Sydney Flames are still trying to find their feet and their makeup and what their characteristics are. So I don't think there's any surprises in terms of the scoreline at the end there. I think Katrina Hibbert, coach of Sydney Uni Flames, can take away some good things from this game in terms of the ability to match it early on, but they've just got to be able to put the ball in the hole and get stops when it's necessary. So all in all, a good game from both teams.
So the Boomers winners by 15 points. Tess Madgen led all scorers. She finished with 23 points, and she can join us now on the back of that victory, 85-70. Tess, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How did you do it tonight? What was it like being back in that Boomers outfit?
Yeah, I love Melbourne. I love the Boomers, and I love, we've got a great team, a lot of really good players, and a great coaching staff. So it's been a long pre-season, so it's really good to get out there and play.
Tess, Jenny's screen here. Great start from you guys. I know it's been, like you said, a long pre-season, but talk to me about the two-man game. It was really exciting to watch the likes of yourself go at it with Kayla George and Ezzy. Are you excited to explore that as the season goes on?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm playing with two of the best posts in the league, and, one of us is going to be open on every play. So I think it was a bit more of the guards tonight that got it going. They were very focused on the bigs, which opened it up for us. But, any given day that can change.
Tess, why Melbourne? You've obviously spent some time away. You come back to the Boomers now, having played there 4 years previous. Why was the time right to return to the Boomers at this stage of your career?
When the opportunity came up to play for the Boomers, when Guy gave me a call, I just jumped at it. I love the city. It's been a hard year in Melbourne this year, but still the best city in the world. And I love being coached by Guy, and they already had a really good core group of players. And, I saw I could really use my talents on this team.
We talk about the season. We know Southside Flyers are going to be in contention for the finals, but what do you guys want? You unfinished business last year. Obviously, you weren't on the team, but what is the ultimate goal for the Melbourne Boomers this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely that championship. Obviously, Southside have put together a great team, but so have we. And, on any given day, we believe we can match it with anyone in the league.
Tess, congratulations on the win tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. First of all, the matchup with the Southside Flyers, it feels like, I'm not going to say bad blood, but I feel like the Boomers, they love beating the Flyers and vice versa. What is it about the dynamic between these two teams?
Oh, they're warming up right next to me. Liz is right here, so I can't say too much, but, they're all getting around it now. They're some of my best friends, and it's always great going up against the best, and it's always great playing against your friends, and obviously we've got that crosstown rivalry, and it's just great for basketball. Melbourne's the capital of basketball in Australia, so there's no surprises that, we both have really great teams.
Talk to me what it's like about life in the bubble. For the players, people at home, I should say, watching, what is it like up there for you guys? Is it unique, different? Is it exciting? Are you embracing it for all that it is? Explain to what it's like up there.
So the three Melbourne teams had 2 weeks in quarantine. So, it was really great to get to Far North Queensland and have a bit more freedom than we have, for the whole year. So, yeah, it's just really great. It's like a high-performance centre. We do have a bit more freedom, but it's awesome to be able to gel as a team. We're spending a lot more time together than we usually would, and I think that's really important, playing so many games in a short amount of time to build that off-court chemistry that will translate to the on-court. But, yeah, we're just trying to live as normally as we can, as we would at home. It's like a high-performance centre, and it's a really good chance for everyone to perform at their best.
I guess, Tess, how much or how little basketball had you played together before stepping on court tonight as a unit?
So we had, I think, 7 or 8 girls down in Melbourne training for about 6 weeks, but we only got the 3 Queensland girls. So Kayla, Kalani and Ash joined us in quarantine 2 weeks ago. So luckily we have a lot of players with high IQ that can really learn quickly and learn on the run, learn through video. And yeah, I think it's coming together nicely.
See that, Tess? That's exactly what you get here on the WNBL. We wrapped up the interview once and now we're going to wrap it up for a second time after a few more bonus questions. Congratulations on a sensational performance tonight. Look forward to seeing you back on the floor Saturday.
Thanks heaps, guys. Huge shout out to everyone back home at Melbourne. Thanks for supporting us.
23 points, Tess Madgen. All of them came before three-quarter time. She was outstanding tonight as the leading scorer for the Melbourne Boomers. Let's take a look at the match highlights. Jenny Screen, talk us through it. What did we witness in Townsville tonight?
Oh, we witnessed Tess Madgen at her best, I think. 10 of 14 from the field to go with that 5 assists and 4 rebounds. I think she led from the front for them, and then it was nice to see Ezzy Magbagor lead the way in the second half for the Melbourne Boomers, finishing with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Just does it on the slide, just quietly, no theatrics about her. It was also nice to see Maddie Garrick get some shots and points underneath her belt, I should say, after having a rough off-season with her ankle surgery. But I only think we're going to see the Melbourne Boomers get more and more comfortable with each other, be able to utilise their bench to be able to push the Southside Flyers, who we think are going to be the championship contenders.
Give me a few bars on the Sydney Uni Flames tonight. If you're Katrina Hibbert and you're walking into the dressing room afterwards, are you going uber positive, or what theme are you trying to set, I guess, for a team which, I guess, had ups and downs tonight? There were parts of it which looked really good and there are other parts of it where you cringed and looked away.
Yeah, look, it's the first game of the season. A lot of these players, there's only 3 returning players for the Sydney Uni Flames. I think knowing Katrina Hibbert, she's a competitor, so she won't be happy with a loss. But there are a lot of good, positive things to take out of that. I think they took it to them in the first quarter. They just couldn't find the bottom of the rim, shooting 20 of 62, 32% from the field, and 7 of 24. Not too bad from long range, but, you know, when you give up 18 second chance points to the Melbourne Boomers and allow 52 points in the paint, it's just going to be fraught with danger, and that's why the scoreline what it is. But a few things to take away. Lauren Mansfield was great for her 34 minutes, finishing with 17 points and 6 assists to go with that. And I thought, you know, Nat Burton, she can show us a little bit more as the season goes on as well.
85-70, the final result. You've seen some nice shots of what we witnessed tonight in Townsville. Ezzy Magbagor getting involved as well, finished with 16 points in that second half. Quick word on Ezzy's night. How would you sum it up?
A linear progression upwards would be my, take on Ezzy. She's finding her feet again. Hey, she just won a WNBL Championship with Seattle, so she's just easing into the season. She's probably been one of the only players that's played in the off-season for the Melbourne Boomers, so it'll take her time to find her feet, but watch this space.
Now, the Sydney Uni Flames, they're next up on Saturday. They play Bendigo. Meanwhile, for the Melbourne Boomers, they played the Southside Flyers, and that game's coming up next. You can see it here on KO Sports, so what a perfect way just to stick around. And by the way, we saw the shots of Liz Cambay. She's going to be playing back on the floor in the WNBL. It's coming up next on KO Sports, so what a way to round out the night. It's the second leg of a doubleheader. It's been good fun. Jenny Screen?
It has indeed, sir. I look forward to the next contest and for the rest of the season.
On behalf of Jenny Screen, my name's Corbin Middlemass and the entire crew signing off for the time being, but don't go too far away, because coming up shortly, Liz Cambay's back on the floor in the WNBL, leading a star-studded, crewed-up team that are the Southside Flyers, trying to go one better than what they did last year, making it through to the grand final against the Canberra Capitals. They're up against the Bendigo Spirit. It's next on KO Sports as the WNBL rolls on.